Hi guys. Okay, so I have to discuss this really good book. Okay, I never did like a full review on Human by Day, Zeta by Night by the same author, but I have to do a review on this book because this book is so good. So the author is Judy Carroll, and this one also has Helene, Kaye. I don't know if it's Helene or Helene. The Zeta Message. Okay, let me just show it better. Okay. This book is so good. It's very similar to Human by Day, Zeta by Night, but the difference is that Human by Day, Zeta by Night was inspired by her real life encounters with the Zetas. This book is the only book I know of where someone is so consciously aware of the Zetas in their everyday life and they're so friendly with them. I'm not going to go over the whole book, but if you are already open to learning about the Greys, the Zetas, this is a great book for you because it's all based on true events. And it's very page turning. Like, it doesn't get boring at all. I was hooked the entire time. I literally just finished reading it this morning, and I will definitely recommend this book. It is super good. It's crazy how they are so involved in this person's life, and it's just so casual. Well, it wasn't always casual, but then Judy started getting more conscious memories of her simultaneous life as a Zeta on board the ships in concurrence with her human life at the same time, that it's like it's so awesome to read her journey about this. And it also discusses about how a lot of ETs, especially the Greys, will intervene in a lot of political disasters or geological disasters. Well, they'll try to lessen the blow of certain things. I've seen a lot of documentaries on like the History Channel and I think Gaia as well, where the Greys will intervene if there's like a nuclear warning or if like certain bombs are gonna go off. They will intervene and make the bombs not go off. But for the situations where the bombs have gone off or where there has been a lot of damage and chaos, those are all pre-contracted for all those souls. And no, that's not an excuse for all the chaos that happens and all the lives that are lost. But if you truly knew that there is not a blank nothingness after your life is over, then you would feel more assured of all these people dying. And once again, I'm not saying that, you know, it's fine for everyone to die, but like, it's one of the things that are guaranteed to happen to everybody, you know, like, come on, like, be real about it. But knowing all this spiritual knowledge, it just lessens the blow and it lessens the heartache. So I feel like it's really great when you're already spiritually not mastered, but like spiritually knowledgeable in this stuff of what the reality of it is, than most people know about. Okay, anyways, so the book surrounds Judy, and then Judy's what ends up becoming her soulmate or twin flame. They're friends, Helene, which is why they're co-authoring this book. And then Helene has 2 kids, one named Ben and one named Kira, and then the husband's name is, I forgot. But what's crazy is that Judy ends up helping Helene with a lot of the Zeta Grey encounters that she consciously has. And once again, that's what's really cool about this book. All of these encounters do happen in the astral plane. They happen in physicality, and they remember this. Like, a lot of the stuff they do remember. Some of the stuff they don't, but a lot of the stuff they do. And there's about like 4 different Greys involved who are like teachers. One is named Oris, one is named Serapis, one is named... The other 2 I think don't come out as much. Oh, Manolo, and I think I forgot the other one, with also the help of some of the little Grey workers. Also, I have to share really quick that I learned from this book that the Greys do have more human type emotions than we even realize. And Judy does mention in the book that if you do get abducted, if you do get taken on the ships and you see Greys, let's say you tell them that they're doing something that hurts you, or you're telling them to stop doing something, right? And they don't. Apparently, according to Judy, those are military created like abductions, that they're not really ET abductions. They're more military based, so that they create fear around the ET Zeta energy field, I guess you can say. So it's creating like a negative bubble of energy around them, so they get like a bad rep, okay? Because anytime that they say that something hurts or to stop doing something, the real ETs will stop, because they don't know how sensitive certain bodies are. So, but they do still have human emotions, if that makes sense. Especially the little workers. The little ones supposedly are the training to be teachers. The taller ones are already teachers, and I think there's another level above that, and I forgot what it was, but I'm not going to go through the whole book, but it's really interesting. I'm going to read some things that I found really cool. Okay. So there was one session with one of the Grey teachers that's named Oris. Helene asked some questions, including one on near-death experiences. Wait, before I forget, because I just remembered. Before I forget, so Ben has no idea about the Greys. He doesn't know anything about the ETs, anything at all, right? But he has like night terrors all the time, and he is just like, Helene and Judy describe him like definitely being a star child, because he has like all these, I'm just not, never mind, just read the book. But what I'm trying to say is that he confirms a lot of the stuff that Kira and Helene experience, because Kira, which is the daughter of Helene, can see, she's very clairvoyant. She can visually see the ETs in her room all the time, and Helene sometimes can, but for the most part Kira will be the one that sees them. And then so she provides the physical confirmation that they're there, and then Ben, who doesn't know anything about the ETs, and Helene and Kira don't tell him about it, experiences a lot of certain things that there's no way he would know. I don't know how to explain it, but he basically confirms that the ETs are real. So confirmation on top of another confirmation, if that makes sense. In case you didn't believe them already, which I already believe them, but you know, people are very close-minded still. So anyways, I know it's confusing, but you just have to read it. Like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, poor Ben. He had some crazy stuff happen to him in his dreams and in his bedroom. Super wild stuff. But okay, now let me get on to so Helene is asking Oris what happens in a near-death experience, and Oris says, "You come to the threshold of the astral plane. Humans think of the astral plane as heaven, but really it is comprised of many layers, some of higher and some of lower vibrational frequencies. We create our own astral plane experience with our mind. However, this does not lessen the reality of the experience. All of reality is created through the mind. Humans of Earth mistakenly think of their mind as a closed room. In actual fact, the mind is a doorway, a portal through to other dimensions. In a near-death experience, it is as if you approach the doorway, open it and look through, maybe even place one foot through, but do not completely step inside. Then she asks, are there more colors to work through than the 7 colors of the spectrum that we can physically see down here? And he says, many more, even more than we are able to perceive at our level. And then she asks, why don't Judy and I like using crystals? To which he says, in a past life, you were both hurt with crystal energy. Crystals are safe as long as they are used with pure intention and clarity of vision, but they can be used in a negative way to cause harm. Then she asks, is there a real being known as Satan? And he says, Satan is the energy of fear as opposed to the God energy of love within the heart of man. In the greater reality, there is no Satan or hell. These are illusions created out of the energy of fear, which we already knew. If you've been following my channel, which we already knew. But what makes it so real is the fact that you believe in it so deeply and everyone's so ingrained to believe in it deeply. So you're creating, what do they call them? Elizabeth April has a name for them. I forgot what they were called. You're creating a thought form, basically. There's another name for that. Okay, let's see. What other page? 242. Oh, love this part. Okay, you guys are gonna love this. So it's December 15th, 2002. So through Kira, Oris explained the difference between soulmates and twin souls. I think twin souls is the same as twin flames. I'm not sure. But here in the book, they have a completely different definition than I believe it is. But just so you guys know, here it is. In the case of soulmates, 2 different souls share a bit of the essence of each other. Twin souls are simply the dual aspect, the yin and yang polarities of the same soul. I love the way Kira interpreted this concept in her 14-year-old mind, likening the process to making rum balls, one of the family's favorite Christmas treats. So to make a brand new soul, you have the bowl of rum ball mix, and the archangel takes a handful and divides it in 2. These then are twin souls, which everyone has somewhere, but not necessarily here on Earth. If the archangel has 2 different handfuls, then he takes a raisin out of each and swaps them over. That is how soulmates are created. This is all done in what I call the soul factory. Oris has taken me there, and it's like a big black room that goes on for eternity. An old archangel calls your name, and you go into like a big bowl, and your memory goes into a deep sleep. Then you wake up as a new person. There is God and 12 others who run the universe. So then we asked Oris for clarification on this, and his explanation with that was that these 12 beings have a closer link to God, guiding consciousness for humanity. When he said this, a pyramid shape came to mind as a way of visualizing the universe, with God source as the apex and consciousness gradually expanding outwards and downwards towards the bottom. And then there's a like a final message from Oris. He wrote, be one with yourselves, be one with your world, be one with your universe. When you reach out to the universe, you receive love. And when you share your love within the world, you shall be one. Wait, I just realized I missed something. Oh, now I know where it is. Okay, this is what I'm gonna end it with. Because I don't wanna go through the entire book, because you guys should read it. I'm gonna like devalue the book if I do. Anyways, 240. Oh, okay. So this is so funny. So listen to this. This is don't get scared, okay? Don't click off. There is a Ouija board involved, but just watch what happens. October 13th, 2002. Kira came home at lunchtime from her friend Kate's place and a birthday sleepover. One of the girls had brought along a Ouija board, so luckily Oris, once again Oris is the gray teacher, also turned up to keep an eye on things. Remembering his words of caution from an early episode at school, Kira insisted that if they really had to play with the board, then they should do it outside rather than inside the house. That evening, their first apparent contact was Tom, an American boy who died from a drug overdose. They asked him how to help stop all the terrible things that are going on in the world. Keep in mind, all of these names that the Ouija board says are not actual spirits, but it's Oris, which is the gray, just trying to scare the kids so that they can stop using the Ouija board. Because he's already there in the presence of the Ouija board, nothing else can come through. I don't know how that works, but he can somehow stop it. So it's basically like a warning for all these kids to stop using the Ouija board because negative spirits can easily come through. So what Tom says, the spirit says, be all one. And they ask him, will the terrorists attack again? And then he says, yes, soon. And it's really crazy because the terrorists actually attacked later that night. It was so crazy. It was because this is in Australia, so it was crazy. Okay, the next contact seemed negative, and one of the girls got really scared. The glass planchette kept going in her direction, even following her when she changed places with someone else. Kira, feeling confident, because she knew Oris was close by, ordered it in a firm voice to go now. And it did. This little fright had the effect of dampening their enthusiasm and sending them off to bed. There's no doubt in my mind that Tom was really Oris, playing games with them and keeping an eye on things. He then pretended to be the bad spirit that scared them, deliberately aiming his attack on the one in the group most easily frightened. With Oris present, no genuine negative entity would have been able to approach, and the way the whole thing was done is very typical of the way Oris operates. It had the desired effect of scaring them into stopping and hopefully teaching them a lesson at the same time. That night, he must have stayed close because one of the girls with whom Kira shared a room with told her the next morning that Kira had been speaking Spanish in her sleep. The next day, teenage silliness overrode caution, and they decided to give the Ouija board another go. This time, Kira felt Oris's presence and active intervention. He told them via the board that his name was Alice and that she was a 17-year-old girl. Alice then went on to lecture them on the dangers of playing around with a Ouija board. One of the girls, Sally, was a very angry and rebellious teenager into drugs, witchcraft, etc., who had attached herself to Kira. Helene and Oris were concerned about this, but Kira felt that she was helping this girl when in fact Sally was doing her best to pull Kira into her own negativity. Sally became annoyed about these cautionary messages coming through the board. She didn't like being lectured and told what to do, even by a spirit person. So she told Alice in no uncertain terms that what she was saying was just a load of crap and that no effing spirit was going to tell her what to do. With that, she got up and flounced off. Kira saw how this sudden breaking of the energy circle that had built up around them caused Oris the Gray a very unpleasant electric shock-like effect. So earlier in the beginning of the book, Judy does a lot of training with Tai Chi and all sorts of meditation. It's so much in the beginning, all this stuff you're learning about Judy. But basically, one of the things that we learned through her experiences is that when you're in an energy circle or like a circle of, basically energy, I forgot what you have to do, but you are not allowed to break the circle unless given permission to do so. And the permission is given by, I don't remember. Just read the book, but this is why Oris has this electric shock, because they broke the circle when they were not supposed to. Okay. Still determined to continue with his lesson and give them all a fright that they wouldn't forget in a hurry, he took a few minutes to recover. With their circle broken in such a dramatic way, the girls put the board aside. The glass they'd been using as a planchette was turned upside down next to the board, which was a few feet away from where they were now sitting and talking. Suddenly, there was a loud crack, and to their complete amazement, the glass was now right side up, in the middle of the board and partly broken, with bits of glass lying nearby. And that's it. There are so many more things that I could have mentioned in the review from the book, but it's just super good. It shows how everyone is connected. It shows how the crop circles are basically like an awakening. I've mentioned the definition of the crop circles before and what they do. I already forgot, it's in one of my videos, but it's basically like a message for humanity to wake up, like subconsciously. The message is translated like subconsciously, basically. What else can I say about this book? I don't know. It was just so good. And if you're open-minded, of course, like me, you'll really enjoy it. And if you're trying to see more of a day-to-day life of someone who has daily encounters with grays, this is such a cool read, such a cool experience to read about someone instead of the usual that I read, like the interviewing, hypnosis, going back and forth. This is all conscious recall. This is all them seeing the grays in person and physically. And then there's just like a lot of times where they would try to tell other people about the things that would happen to them. And even in the UFO community, who are supposed to be aware of this stuff, and not all of them are open-minded, but just like aware of it, a lot of them were very negative to them and very discrediting. And a lot of people are going to ask like, oh, well, if they see them all the time consciously, then why don't they have pictures of them? That's a good question. I really don't know, but they do have some drawings of the grays in this book. But I don't know what else to say about this book, but just that it was really good. And I really value the courage that it took to write this book, because a lot of people have had so many experiences like this, I'm sure, and will never ever write anything or tell anyone about it because they're going to be called crazy. Which, thank goodness for the energy shifts going on, a lot of people are becoming more open to it and are not immediately calling you a psycho or that you need to go to like a mental asylum. Because it's honestly just them speaking out of their fear because they don't know the greater reality of the reality that we live in, which is stranger than fiction. Yes, so that is like the one thing I've learned, and I know for sure that the truth is stranger than fiction, the reality is stranger than fiction. So once again, it's The Zeta Message by Judy, Carroll, and Helene, Kaye. Super good. I got it off Amazon. I don't know where you guys want to get it from, but I totally recommend it.